So this is a story I've been wanting to tell to some of my lady friends for quite a long time. And that is the story of my journey to go gray naturally, to choose not to continue to color my hair as I started graying, and to be brave enough to commit to that in a world where, yes, it's fashionable to have gray hair when you're 19 years old, but maybe not as fashionable when you are 40. But it's definitely the choice I knew I wanted to make. I didn't want to find myself in the position where, I have white roots and dark hair or white roots and blonde hair. And I just wanted to earn my wisdom that I have dutifully earned. But let me tell you a little bit about my history, and maybe that'll, as we get into pictures, give you an idea of where my journey came from. So I grew up a little blonde-haired girl, and as I got into high school, it started turning kind of ashy blonde to mousy brown, I guess you would call it. I don't know what color I would have called my hair back then. I'm sure it had like blonde highlights from the sun naturally with kind of a ashy, mousy, blondish brown. Got my first highlights when I was 19 years old to get back to the blonde girl that I was. I remember my mom got one of those at-home kits with the cap that had the little holes all in it, and you pull the hair through with the needle hook, and it turned out a disaster. So from there on, I had to do some color correction, and I actually noticed my first gray hair around that same age, 19, 20 years old. My mom dyed her hair. She passed away when she was 46, and she was still dyeing her hair, but there was plenty of gray there. So there's some tendency, I guess, in my family to gray at a younger age, not as young as some may, but gray naturally, I should say. So I knew I was going to I've always known I was going to make a personal decision at some point in my life that I was going to stop coloring my hair. I see these beautiful images of these lovely, ladies in their 50s and 60s, 80s and beyond and I've always loved blonde, long hair. So I never intend to be an older, woman with short hair. I appreciate the length of my hair. So I want to be one of those people that embraces the waves and the curls that come with graying hair and just enjoy it in all of its glory that it is. But I also wasn't blessed with somebody that had the pretty skunk stripe or the beautiful black hair and that white offset that is so just on point when you see it. I'm blessed with just an ordinary hair color and, scraggling grays that naturally grow in. Nothing glorious about it. So maybe this speaks to some of you that aren't getting that wow factor that you expected. So in that, I'll start here. Okay, I knew when I turned 40, this was it. I was done. I had enough entry-level gray hairs to say, this is nonsense. It's too much work. My hair won't keep the color. It won't hold the color anymore. And I should say, when you see this picture here, I had been store-bought coloring for a long time because I was in a budget saving mode. So that yellow hair color that you saw was store-bought hair color. And I'd been doing that for many years. So I thought the first step to the process, because I knew by seeing my roots what color I had become underneath all that. So I thought surely the first step to this process would be, let's go brown. So I believe it was 2016, Yeah, it would have been 2016. I dyed my hair brown for that year. And the thing about my hair, I think because it had been color treated so much, it just couldn't hold on to that. So it always lifted to an auburn, had a red tint to it, and I would have to treat it back. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm trying to get away from. I'm a very low maintenance person. So to stay on top of hair coloring was like a nightmare for me. So in the fall of 2017, was it 2017? Let me take a look. I sent myself a whole bunch of pictures so I remembered. Nope. In the fall of 2016. So 2016 was when I started coloring my hair brown. I sent myself this picture. Can you guys see that? I started Pinteresting how to go gray gracefully. And I was like, well, now that I have this brown base, maybe they can just put some, beige, some blonde with some, baby lights, and it could grow out. And eventually that's what I got to. That fall, I went and saw like a proper professional hairdresser and told her what journey I was going on and how to get there. And this was the first time I had a transitional hair coloring done. And it looked glorious. I really loved it. But the thing is I was still having the problem that tonal treatment that they would put on it that gave you that nice ashy color always lifted to yellow. So I went back the following spring, got it retreated. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But by September, I was fed up again. It was yellow. I was so frustrated by this process. Looking back, I have so much hindsight, but I was so frustrated by this process because I kept getting back to that yellow. And I wanted to be done with the yellow. I just wanted to be natural, as natural looking as I could to help this transition. So this time I went to see a different hairdresser and I said, I just need to get rid of the yellow, showed her the previous pictures of what I looked like, with those transitional color treatments. And this happened. I walked out of there so despondent. She had basically undone all the work that I had put into it by basically color treating my whole head. And that was not what I was going for. I wanted to leave the roots, let them grow out naturally, and get there. So that leads me to, that was what? Okay, so that was October 2017. I was fed up. I was done. That was my last time I colored my hair. I said, this isn't working for me. This process that I'm trying to do, I'm giving up. And so I went through that brassy, yellowish orange. It was never really orange, just that brassy yellow for the entire following year, all the way through 2018. And it was November 2018 when I took this picture, and you can tell by my face, I am like at my wit's end. My roots have grown out for an entire year. I've got all this yellow. I've got my son's wedding in December, my first son getting married. I wanted long hair for the wedding, and I was like so tempted to just go back and get one more color treatment, but I didn't. I stuck it out. I went to the wedding, full roots and all, just kind of pulled it back and tried to hide that awful transition line. And I'm so glad I did, because the following January was when I did my first big chop. And that is my first lesson. And I think that's honestly, if I had just done that early on, 2 years prior, I would have been so much further in the process, but I didn't. I was trying to do this gentle weaning from the coloring process. And I, like I said, I still never coloring my hair. And I went through that multiple times. So I would let it grow out. I would cut it back. So then the next picture that you see is January 2020. I've obviously given myself some layers. It's grown back out again. We're seeing a lot more of my natural color. September of 2020, I gave myself another fresh lift and cut just to get some more of that color grow out, cut off. And then ultimately, this last picture is me here in January of this year. And wow, who knew that my hair was almost as dark as when I thought, yes, I need to go brown. Because I didn't realize how dark my hair had gotten because I had been coloring it for so long. But I say that to say, I have a lot of gray, but I'm not blessed like some of you ladies with those big, thick white streaks. It's just coming in very, very naturally. And, what's down here, you might not even be able to see anything on film. They're just little scraggly pieces from what used to be up here. And now this will come down here. But what I'm struggling with now is because my gray's coming in heavier right now, like very, very heavy. I don't know why. Maybe it was what the year 2020 did to us. I'm tempted again. I'm tempted to go get some lightning to just blend this. And I can't tell you right here and right now that I'm not going to do that. I have a sister. If I find a picture of her, I'll put it here. She's 7 years older than me, and she's fully white. Absolutely stunning. A beautiful woman. And she gets her hair treated still just to freshen it up. In the summer, she'll get some little blonde highlights through it. So I'm just here to say to you, I'm not one of those champions. I'm not one of those people that just lived through the, I am strong, I can do this. No, I had a lot of self-doubt in the journey and a lot of questioning, like even still today, like surely there's something I could do to lighten this. Like I enjoy my natural hair color, kinda. I don't even know what color you would call this. I think it's brown, but it feels like it has like a natural kind of tint to it, a red tint. My papa was a redhead, so maybe. But summer's coming up. I'm actually going to California next month to celebrate my birthday and my daughter's birthday. And I just kind of want a little bit of lightning, but am I going to go yellow again? That's all that's going in my head. I don't want to be yellow again. So I don't know. I might go in just for a consult and say, I don't want to go yellow again. If there's anything that you can do, otherwise, no thanks. I'll see you later. So we'll see. But it was worth telling the story because I think a lot of what you see on Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube are these glorious, powerful, beautiful, gray-haired women. I am not that. I am your ordinary neighbor next door that had her challenges and her doubts along the way, probably made some pretty poor decisions along the way, but ultimately got to 100% natural gray grow out. So you can do it faster if you don't make the mistakes that I make. You bite the bullet, you wear a bunch of ball caps and a bunch of headbands. And I tell you what, I can't tell you how many ball caps and headbands I went through. And eventually you'll get there if you stick with it. But those self-doubt moments will really set you back if you give in to them. So anyway, that's just my going gray, not so gracefully story. Thanks guys for coming along. And if you have any questions, not necessarily looking for any advice. This is my own personal journey, and we are all going to take whatever journey makes us feel comfortable. And if your journey is coloring your hair for the rest of your life, there is no problem with that whatsoever. It just wasn't my journey. Talk to you guys later.